What's up, everyone? I hope everyone is having a fantastic morning. So, we're going to talk about the NBA because the NBA season has officially concluded, which, as an NBA fan, kind of depressing because that means we won't be able to watch another lick of NBA basketball until October. So, all we can do as NBA fans is enjoy our summer break, tune into baseball, the WNBA, etc., so on. And now we officially wait for free agency. It's going to be interesting to see how the free agency period during the 2026 offseason is going to significantly shake up the scope, the landscape of the NBA. But, ladies and gentlemen, the parity era is still in session. This is now the eighth different championship in 8 consecutive seasons. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think this occurrence has ever happened in NBA history. I could be wrong. I didn't do my research, but I feel as though this is the only era that has experienced this many championships in this span, in this short span throughout NBA history. It's definitely crazy, and it's a testament to how diverse the talent is and how disseminated the talent is across different NBA teams. Nobody is dominant. But let's get into the meat and potatoes. The New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen, they are now your NBA champion. And if you ask me, the New York Knicks 100% deserve this. Knick fans 100% deserve this. After all the pain, depression, despair, agony they experienced during the 2010s decade, Knick fans, not even just Knick fans, the New York Knicks were the literal butt of the joke during the 2010s decade. Bad decision after bad decision, especially with James Dolan leading the charge, giving himself the green, he's the owner, but giving himself the green light to approve of various moves. And these moves were extremely detrimental for the future of the New York Knicks franchise. The Carmelo Anthony era, even though Carmelo Anthony, historically great scorer, I feel as though Carmelo Anthony is a tad bit overrated, but he's still one of the more paramount players in NBA history, if you ask me. But during the Carmelo Anthony era, the New York Knicks really didn't do anything. Their most significant season was the 2013 season, if you ask me. That was when Carmelo Anthony won the scoring title, I believe. And essentially, that production from Carmelo Anthony, let alone the entire team collectively, it only led to a second round exit. That second round exit featured them losing to the Indiana Pacers, which that Pacers team didn't even win a championship that season. So the Knicks weren't even serious contenders that year, despite how prolific they were as a squad that year, right? And now, speaking of Carmelo Anthony, people are talking about how his name is being erased from NBA history. And it's kind of, Carmelo Anthony used to be a household, known, iconic name. And it's kind of sad how his legacy is being dismissed now, like it's being overlooked. But, man, like I said, the Knicks fans deserve this, especially, not even strictly talking about the many occurrences that transpired for the Knicks in the worst way imaginable during the 2010s decade. There was a time where Knicks fans thought they literally thought they were going to get both KD and Kyrie Irving and then Zion Williamson all in the same exact offseason. Newsflash, that didn't happen. What made it even worse is that KD and Kyrie went to the other team 30 minutes away from Madison Square Garden, 32nd Street. That was the Barclays Center, downtown Brooklyn. That was like a huge slap in the face. And then the Pelicans jumped all the way to the first overall pick. Despite not even having the worst record in the league that year, the Knicks were worse than the Pelicans record-wise that year, and they still weren't able to land Zion. So Knicks fans, they've been through it all. The season where things started to shift, the 2022 offseason, where the Knicks were able to land Jalen Brunson after Brunson was able to break out, rise to the occasion during his tenure with the Dallas Mavericks. During the 2022 postseason, he emerged into, at the time, an above average type of player, borderline all-star player. And then as soon as he was able to receive the green light on the Knicks as the definitive first option, he was able to flourish. He was able to develop. he was able to establish himself as one of the more premier point guards in the league. Fast forward to today, man. They built a competent team around him, trading Emmanuel quickly and other assets for OG Anunoby, trading Julius Randle, Dante DiVincenzo for Towns, investing tons of draft picks in exchange for Mikal Bridges. These acquisitions finally amounted to a championship, ladies and gentlemen. And this is a team that was routinely disrespected by the masses. People continuously called them frauds. Despite them receiving championship nods, them losing in back-to-back years to the Indiana Pacers caused people to scratch their head. The narratives were absolutely diabolical. Jalen Brunson, the narrative surrounding him was that you couldn't win with Jalen Brunson as a first option because he was too small of a point guard. That narrative is dead, ladies and gentlemen. Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks were able to win a championship despite him being categorized as a small point guard. And this Knicks team, it's not like they squeaked it out, right? They were historically dominant. This Knicks team was historically dominant all postseason long. And this is another reason as to why, yes, regular season does matter, but regular season isn't the end-all be-all. This team only won 53 games in the regular season. 53 games. And despite that, they were that dominant in the postseason. And I kind of find it funny how, out of all teams, the Atlanta Hawks were able to give the Knicks the most trouble throughout the playoffs. That is kind of crazy to me. Not saying the Atlanta Hawks are a bad team, but kind of find it funny how that team was able to give them the most trouble. But ever since the adjustments they made after Game 3 in the first round against the Atlanta Hawks, the Knicks went on, what was it, an 11-12 game win streak? I don't know what Mike Brown said to the Knicks in the locker room, but whatever he said, it literally translated into historical feats. Coming into the finals, they accumulated a historically great net rating, even better than the 2016-2017 Warriors, widely regarded as possibly the best constructed team of all time. And obviously in the finals, I would assume that net rating slightly regressed. But even then, looking at how they performed in the finals, man, they faced double-digit deficits, monumental ones at that, in all 5 games. And they only lost one of those games. Especially in Game 4, they were down by 29 points. Their persistence, their diligence, their ability to just not give up came through. They won that game, despite being down 29 points. Jalen Brunson, closeout game, 45 points, carving up the Spurs defense, doing everything he possibly could to will the Knicks past the Spurs for them to secure the championship, and he delivered, winning Finals MVP. Karl Anthony Towns, wildly disrespected throughout his entire career. He played phenomenal in the finals. He played serviceable defense on Victor Wembanyama. OG Anunoby, phenomenal two-way player. He is worth every single penny. Phenomenal defender, 3-level scorer on offense, able to shoot threes, able to knock down mid-range shots, able to capitalize on opportunities down low in the paint. Mikal Bridges, like Josh Hart said, forget them picks. Because he was, in the finals and throughout various moments in the postseason, he wasn't really... There were many moments where he was extremely underwhelming, but he also had his moments. Mitchell Robinson continuously proving himself to be a phenomenal force in the interior, especially in the closing moments of Game 5 in the finals. He delivered, securing 6 offensive rebounds, securing, I would say, the game-clinching offensive rebound for the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks, man, and there's other players, Deuce McBride, Jordan Clarkson, like I mentioned, Josh Hart, who I'm probably forgetting some other names. Oh, I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. Dylan Jones is a back-to-back NBA champion. He's the, man, right spot at the right time. But shout out to the New York Knicks, man. They 100% deserve this. And now the haven't won a ring since 1973 jokes, those jokes are dead. And pivoting to the Spurs momentarily, definitely unfortunate. However, I feel as though if you're a Spurs fan, yes, it's normal for you to be extremely upset about the occurrence and the results of the NBA Finals. But in reality, this is their first playoff run with their core. That team is still young. Victor Wembanyama, 22 years old. Stephon Castle, 21 years old. Dylan Harper, 20 years old. They're going to be back. And they're not going to have to worry about the constraints of the CBA for quite some time now, since all three of these players of their young core, they're still on rookie deals. They're going to be back. This is not their peaks. This is literally Dylan Harper's rookie season, and he was able to perform in the fashion that he did in the finals, let alone the entire playoffs. And De'Aaron Fox, I think he's kind of redundant. I feel as though they should just give Dylan Harper the keys and try to, it's going to be difficult to move on from De'Aaron Fox considering the lucrative contract attached to his name. But I feel as though if they're able to, they should move off of De'Aaron Fox to possibly surround Wemby in their young core with more size, like more productive wings, I would say. And just, like I said, give Dylan Harper the keys as the lead point guard. But other than that, the Spurs, they're going to be back. This is not the last time that we're going to see this core in the finals. This isn't the last of the Spurs. They lost to a historically great New York Knicks team, and despite it all, they were able to receive a lick of NBA Finals experience within their first ever playoff run. This experience is going to go a long way with their development. So shout out to the San Antonio Spurs. Phenomenal playoff run. Unexpected, if I could say the least. Wemby is here. Wemby's going to be back. That's all I'm going to say. But other than that, that's going to conclude the duration of this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this ramble session about the New York Knicks. I will see you guys the next time I feel led to record another video. Take care.